All right. So, hi, and welcome to Percent of Change. So, today we're going to figure out how much things change, either going up in value or going down in value. So, like, let's say my house, right? I bought my house, I don't know, 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, for $275,000. And now it's looking like it's probably closer to $375,000. So, I could actually figure out what percent it's gone up if I wanted to. Right. You can also figure out what type of percent increase you have in your salary, things like that. A lot of times people will use this information to decide like staffing, like, hey, our sales went up. Let's put more people on the schedule. Or, oh, ticket sales were down. Let's make sure we don't book as many performers because nobody's coming, or things like that. So that's usually used to make a decision. So let's talk about what it is. It is a bit of a formula. So I would recommend putting this on your note card. But percent of change is, let's fill in the blanks here. Percent of change. Okay. So percent of change is the amount of change. So how much it went up or down. So like the example of my house, it was 275. Now it's 375,000. The amount of change will be $100,000, right? And then you divide that by the original amount. And that tells you the percent that has changed. Then you have to decide if it went up or down. Okay. So when the original amount goes up, it's called a percent increase. Oh my gosh. Percent increase. I swear I do that like every video. If the percent goes down, it's called a percent decrease. And for this lesson, I'm totally fine if you want to use the up or the down arrow. That doesn't matter to me at all. Okay, so there is a bit of a shortcut way to think about this. So the amount of change is you basically take the new value, right? So the new value of my house was $375,000. You subtract the old value, and then you divide it by the old value. So to figure out what my house percent went up, I would do 375 minus 275, which is 100. And the old value was 275. So if I typed that into the calculator, and let me just see if I have it here, I would figure out what percent my house went up. I don't have a calculator right now, so I'll figure it out. We'll come back to it. Okay, so let's do some of these problems. We're going to find the percent, find the percent of change, and then we're going to classify it as an increase or decrease, and then round to the nearest tenth. And again, the up and down arrow is fine. Okay, actually now I'm curious, what did my house go up? I got to type this into my computer really fast, just a sec. So 100 divided by 275 went up 36%. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, that's a good return on my money. Okay, cool. So example number one, Beth bought a $75 pair of jeans for $60. So this was the old value because they were on a discount. This is the new value. Okay, so new minus old over old. So this is what I'm working from right here. So 60 minus 75 all over 60. Okay, so that gives me negative 15 on the top, which tells me that it's a decrease, right? And we already know it's a decrease because she paid less than it was originally marked. Over 75 gives me negative 0.2. Okay, so that means that if I turn that decimal into a percent, it is a 20% decrease. So you can't just write negative 0.2 because that doesn't mean anything. But this means that it was a 20% sale. So she got 20% off her jeans. Okay, cool. John went from weighing 140 pounds to weighing 155 pounds. So this is the new, and this is the old. So he gained weight, right? So new minus old, so 155 minus 140 all over 140. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just realized, guys, sorry about this. This number back here, it should have been 75 on the bottom. If you caught that, good job, because I didn't. Okay, the numbers still work out. I was looking at my old notes and I did all the math already. I just wrote the wrong number on the bottom, so I apologize for that. These numbers should match right here, just like they match right here. That's how I knew something was wrong when I wrote it the second time. Okay, cool. So when I subtract these, I get a positive 15. So that tells me he gained weight, but we already know that, right? Over 140. And when I turn that into a decimal, I get approximately 0.107, which is, moving the decimal 2 places to the right, about a 10.7% increase. So he gained about 10.7% of his body weight. Okay, cool. Well, not cool for John, but cool, we did the problem. Okay. Ian worked 25 hours at the grocery store last week and 36 hours this week. So this is his old hours. These are his new hours. So by what percent have his hours increased? So new minus old, so 36 minus 25 all over 25 equals 11 over 25. Oh, you know what? I'm not even going to use a calculator for this one because percent is something over 100 and I get 44 over 100. So that's 44%. Wow, that's a 44% increase in his hours. That's crazy. Hopefully Ian wanted to work that many hours. Okay, last example. The total rainfall was a 14.5 inches in 2014 and 8.9 inches in 2015. So here's my old, here's my new, and I'm going to plug them in. So new 8.9 minus old 14.5 over old 14.5. Okay, this is going to be negative. So it went down. Okay, so I get negative 5.6 over 14.5. I'm going to type that one into the calculator and I get approximately negative 0.386. Oh, that was my street address when I was growing up. 386 Buford Street. Okay, so let's Oregon 97380. Look it up. It's a teeny tiny town. Okay, moving my decimal 2 places to the right, I get 38.6% decrease. Whoa, that's a lot of rain that they don't have. So hopefully they aren't in a drought. Okay, so take a minute to do the 2 on your own. I think it really helps if you label the new and the old like I showed you, and then use a calculator if you need to, and then convert it to a percent, and then put the up or the down arrow. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, so the enrollment at the university went up 14.3%. So that's like people that work at the university would use that information to decide to order more faculty or add more parking spots, or maybe they need to build more housing, things like that. For number 2, the florist sold a lot less roses. They were down 20% in sales. Like, what's up with that? It's Valentine's Day. But that's huge. That's Valentine's Day and Mother's Day are the 2 biggest days for florists. I've done work on the side where I just randomly go work for a florist shop on Mother's Day and drive flowers around. And I'll tell you, it's one of the best jobs because who doesn't love flowers? And I did it without a smartphone too. It was when I was living in China. I came back for a couple weeks and just delivered flowers. So anyway, they lost 20.3%. So again, they would have to order less flowers for the future or have to lay off a worker or something like that. Okay, so make sure when you're doing the percent problems that you read them really carefully so you know what's the new, what's the old, plug them into the formula, and decide if it's an increase or a decrease. Okay, cool. You're almost to the end of the unit. Good job.